righty. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Pat Staude, and I'm excited to be here with all of you today as we continue. This is the second week of a 3-week training on the fabulous Google Docs that we have the opportunity to learn how to work with. And we have some wonderful information we're going to share. David Baumoel and Karen Anderson are going to be our special guest. Dee is the host, and we'll control the chat box. If you have questions, please put them in the chat if you just don't want to forget what the question is. And then we will have Q&A at the end, and it's going to be pretty interactive. So we're glad you're here. And I'm going to start just quickly with a quick review because we've had a few people this week that have come to us, and we thought we'd kind of share.
Pat, I may have muted you, so if you would unmute yourself, sorry, because I was.
No problem. That's a good thing to mute everybody, but yeah, just let me know when, because I can hear you. So first of all, we will share quickly, where do we find these fabulous documents? We have a Facebook group that is housing them. It's called Best Practice. And if you go into this group, now here's the deal. If you're not in the group, have one of your mentors or Facebook friends add you. That's how originally it was for EDs only. Now it's for anyone who wants to work with these documents. So if Dee and I are friends on Facebook, it's very easy for me to go in and add her. Now, if we're not, that's a different scenario. Maybe we need to become friends on Facebook, then I can add her. Now, when you get there, on this left-hand side, my cursor is here, announcements. If you click on announcements, it's almost like files. It was or is in some groups. Click there, and that's where the actual documents are, to where you don't have to go through all of the posts in the announcement are just very important documents. So all 3 documents are in this comment of Shauna Perry's on September 22nd. What you have to do is click. It does not say it here, but just below this, it would say, yesterday it said view all 8 comments. When you click on that, then the documents will come up. Here they are. If you want it, when you're live on Facebook, if you want, and the one we're doing today is starting new clients, you just click right on this, and that document, live document, comes right up in front of you. Now, if you were not on the training on September 22nd, when Vicki Teedy and her team trained us on the document, that is also in this announcement section of best practices, okay? So that's where you go to find them. Now, if you're in the documents and you come upon a document where it says access denied, please, please, please do not request access. Do not click on that button. Instead, how to report that you're having a challenge. And I think they've gotten the kinks out of this. The first week it was a challenge. But if you're having a challenge, go into best practices, a brand new post. Tell them the name of the document you're working with. And there's only 3, and they're listed here. And then the name of the document in that main one of 3 documents, okay? But do not hit request access. All right, a lot of people asked this week, I'm in it, I'm trying to work with these, how do I, after I see a document, how can I download it to print it or save it? Now, we don't encourage you to save them because that's what a Google Live Doc is. We can go in and improve them, and we want you always to have the best, most updated version. But let's say you click on the link, and this is the client check-in calls. When you get there, up here on the left side, my cursor's circling it, files. This is just a screenshot, but when you're on the live one, files. You click on files, file, and then you're looking for download as. See, when you click on that file, download, this Dropbox comes up. Click on download as, and you can download it as a Word document, okay? All right, so then, you download in Word document and you're ready to print it. This is what it will look like. You could also, it's a regular Word document. If for some reason you need to, you can save it on your computer. again, caution with the saving it. We don't want you all of a sudden to continue to use it and there's a better format, you know, a new improved. So that's basically what we wanted to share real quick. And at this time, I'm going to turn this over to Debbie Baumoel. Thank you, Deb. Go for it, girl.
Unmute yourself, Deb.
Thank you so much, Pat. That was fantastic. Really appreciate all the information there. And I think one of the big things that I've run into with talking to a few of the coaches that I work with is like, so why should we do this again? Like, why is this such a big deal? Why is it worth my time to even look at these documents? Because some of the things on these documents are not brand new. They are familiar to us. And so you might be thinking, you know, what? Let's go back. You might be thinking, you know, so what is, you know, what's the big deal here? So I think one of the things that I'm real excited about is that this is a step-by-step team coaching process. It's a turnkey, systematic organization. It's a very simple, structured approach to running our businesses as a health coach. It's easy to teach it, too, to other people because it is so systematic. It's clear-cut. There's organized procedures, tells exactly how many training calls, for example, a new coach should do, 2 where the mentor does it for them, 2 where they do it together, 2 where the new coach does it and the mentor listens, you know, so very organized. And it's a really easy way to track the transfer of skills. It's much easier to find things. It's actually much more than just a collection of links. And this is how it's done. Like, this is how our coaching system is supposed to work. So, okay, now we can go to the next slide. The benefits of that, I think, are going to be like amazing. And Vicki Tidi's group, who has been working with this, has found huge benefits that because it is so systematic, it's a much better experience for our clients. They're much more likely to get integrated. It's an easier experience for the coaches. It's easier to start new coaches. It will help our businesses grow. And I know that Karen Anderson has already been working with these and has some great feedback on what she's found so far. Where are you, Karen?
There I am. There I am. Unmute myself. Good morning, everyone. Well, yes, I've been a coach for a long time, and I feel like I'm a really good coach, and I feel like I have done a good job with my clients, but I've probably started 5 or 6 new clients in 2 or 2.5 weeks since I've seen this system and started delving into it. And I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. And it's not like really different. It's just very easy for me to stay organized. I always suggested people download the condiment list. I always suggested people listen to the ebook. But the way it's organized, and with the checklist for the business coach, it's just or for the coach that's starting the client, it's just so much easier to not have things fall through the cracks. So if you really look at it, you know, and there's so many things on that document that are excellent. Like there's a wonderful document that you send on day 3 after they get into fat burn, and that's when they introduce the support and the habits of health calls and starting to read in the book. And it just makes sense instead of hitting them all with it right before when they're first starting and they're overwhelmed with just trying to figure out what they're supposed to do. There's a great, they send, there's a specific time that you send the exercise video, you know, and then you check it off on your checkoff list so you can look back and see. because when you have 40 or 50 clients, it's really hard, especially at my age, to remember, did I send them this? Did I send them that? You know, or little notes. So I just think the experience, those 5 or 6 new clients that I've started, I feel like they're more integrated quicker than they would have been otherwise. So I'm loving it.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. So next, we actually wanted to, if you want to, whoever's advancing the, I guess, Pat. Yeah, so we want to actually go live to the documents and just kind of show you a little bit more about them. So I'm actually going to share my screen, and I'm just going to open up the tabs, that I wanted to highlight for everyone. So, I want you to know where I got all this stuff from. So I'm going to do it live while you're watching. So I'm going to start off in the Facebook group, the Best Practices Facebook group. This is the group that Pat just told us about. There it is. And this is the post that has the documents in it. And so I'm just going to go ahead and open up the Starting New Clients document. So, so there it is. And what I love about this is that, and it took me a while to sort of figure this out because, as Karen was saying, parts of this are new processes and systems and parts of it are familiar. So I was trying to figure out what's so marvelous and special about all this. And one of the things that I did that showed me how great of a system this is when I clicked on click here to set up your new client notebook. And one of the things that it suggested to do was to print out the health assessment. And this health assessment that's included in this system is wonderful. I really like it. But it's got some great talking points in it. But the thing that really helped it start to make sense for me was looking at the checklist that's in the this health assessment, which guides us through some of the emails that Karen was mentioning, the welcome email, the day 3 email, the exercise email, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Not only those emails, but all the other steps and processes along the way. And I used to track these things, like whether or not I sent the well-being evaluation. I would track that, but I wouldn't track, did they do it and send it back to me? So I love that this system is all set up this way for us. And one of the things that really helped to clarify the whole thing for me was I watched this video right here about, it's called Structural Coaching and Effective Client Check-in Calls. And this is a link to a video that is, it's going to start up. Okay, it didn't start. So this is it was an hour long, and I thought, oh, do I really want to watch this whole thing? So I actually watched it in segments, 10 or 15 minutes at a time, here or there. But what I began to realize was that it was so beautifully set up and going through all the different steps here. And this is such a well-integrated, tight system. And that's when I began to realize this is really going to help my clients. It's really going to help my coaches, whether we're full-time or part-time. This is so systematic and turnkey that it's really easy for everyone to plug into. So that is one of the things that I really wanted to share with everyone. And then another thing that I'm loving, and if you've been a coach for a while, you have maybe worked with a document called Simple Systems. When I would introduce that document to coaches, I would say, and it's anything but simple. But what has been added to this document, which I so love, is this is a spreadsheet. When I can't find something, in simple systems, I really have to hunt for it. But when I can't find something in this system, all I have to do is remember it, the name of it alphabetically, and it's listed here. And this is so cool. So it tells the name of the document. It tells who's in the document. If it's a video, here's the video link, when it was created, what original document it is part of. And then if there is a document, the link to it is right here. Some things have a video and a document. Some things just have a video. Some things just have a document. But I no longer have to hunt and peck to find what I'm looking for. It is all right here. And I love that. So, Pat, were we going to talk about the difference between saving something and bookmarking it?
Yes, definitely. And again, we talked about, and bookmarking is a topic we covered last week. And bookmarking makes it very easy. In fact, you can see Deb's tabs at the top where she has starting. There's all of her bookmarks, but go back, Deb, just so we can see your tabs. You have starting new clients. She has, it's open. I'm assuming it's one of her bookmarks. But the difference is every time she clicks here, if somebody's made a change on this live document and Deb clicks on a bookmark, she's got the newest revised document. If she would take this document and save it, well then when upgrades are done, that saved document does not have the upgrades. So that's why we want to encourage you, do not save things, bookmark them so you can get to them quickly. You can bookmark all three of the main documents, then you can bookmark documents within them. But that's the difference between a bookmark and saving a document to your computer.
Debbie, would you point that out, the bookmark on your top? Because a lot of people don't understand that. And
yes. So
we did train on it last week too.
Yeah, I know, but
awesome.
So
what server are you in, Deb? I can't tell. Just looking.
Right. So I have an Apple iMac, so it's a Macintosh, and I use the browser that I use is Chrome.
That was my question. What browser?
It's going to look different for different people. So in some systems, it's called a favorite, not a bookmark, but it's the same idea. And so I have a bookmark toolbar up here at the top of my screen for the things that I use very frequently. And so if I want to bookmark, I can bookmark this page and I can tell where my bookmarks are. So every browser is a little different, and that's more like computer training, but it's different than saving. If I wanted to download this document or make a copy, that would not be a good idea because it would disconnect me from the updates that are going to happen to these documents on a regular basis. But bookmarking it is a great way to be able to find it quickly and easily.
It's a shortcut, basically, is what it is. And
really saving the live document.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so we're always still connected to the live document. So my suggestion for this is to take the time to watch the videos, to open up the links and see where they lead, and just to start becoming familiar with and learning about this system. And I think it's amazing. And I think it's because it's so organized, it takes a lot of the guesswork and the stress and where is this, where is that, how many of these calls should I do? It just takes all that away, which I love.
Debbie, can I add one thing with the saving and bookmarking? There are a few documents in here that you're going to want to customize. For instance, the client email, the welcome email. There's something in there about a referral fee, and that might not be the referral fee that you want to use. So you can change things, but that's when you would want to save it, right?
Yes, and so that kind of leads into the canned response thing that I think Pat was going to talk about. But that is a really good point, Karen, about, not everybody gives a referral fee. Not everyone gives that amount of a referral fee. Your numbers may vary. And also the well-being evaluation, if I click on that link, I come to the one that, the generic one. But if I, want to modify it to be the link to my well-being evaluation, that's something that I can also do. So, Pat, do you want to share your screen and talk about canned response, or what would you like to do?
Sure. So go ahead and you stop your share, and I'll pick up here. Okay, and it's very important, and I like that Karen mentioned in doing the canned emails. All right. Well, I'm gonna go through a couple of slides only because I want these slides for people. Then we'll go live. For people to see it, in case you go back to the recording, there's kind of some step-by-step. But in canned emails, this is what we're talking about, these canned emails. And what you can do is edit your emails. You put them in the can. You set them up as canned emails. You can pull them up just like if you were ready to send. And then I haven't really, every one that I've used, I read through it to be sure, knowing who I'm sending it to, that it's exactly what I want to say. So that's a very easy time to save, make a couple. I had one client this week that was a restart, an old client that came back. So I looked at that can that I had prepared. I made a couple of edits to make it very personal to her. And that's a good place if you want to change your referral fees or anything like that. Always look at these emails before you hit the send button, and then you'll be certain that people are getting what you want them to have. Now, the beauty in the canned responses, and you can do these in your different emails. There's Gmail, there's Safari Mail, there's Outlook, there's Yahoo. Those are just to name a few, but I'm going to show you a couple of them. We did Gmail. Gmail is, I have both. I have Gmail and I have Safari Mail. But if you go right to where you log into your Gmail and you click the tool symbol on the top right and go to settings, and then you click on labs, and then you'll see this thing, you scroll down when labs opens for canned responses. And what you have to do is enable it. Most of them are disabled if you haven't enabled it in the past. Then it's really simple to use, and we'll go into my Gmail just to show you. But Google, there's amazing videos on Google. And this Melissa is one person that I found. She had I think it was like 3 minutes, not even 3 minutes, on how to do your canned emails in Gmail. And then there was same Melissa in Safari Mail. But there's also a training on those two in our simple systems that Shauna and Vicki did, to show you how to do these canned emails. And I'll go live to mine. But here in Safari Mail, it's so simple. And this I learned because I did this research for today. So you compose a message, just like you go, I go in to compose a message, copy and paste the Google Doc, go to Mail, upper left, Mail and File, and you can save it as stationary. Here in Safari Mail, they call canned responses stationary. Then you name it. New client email, kickoff call, name them as you have them, and click save. After you name it, the save button will populate. Then how do I find it? Well, guess what? To retrieve it after you have it set up, far right-hand corner on your Safari Mail, this little button, this last one, it's show or hide stationary pane. I didn't even know that was there. I've used this for how long now? And when you click on it, here's the stationary pane, and you see on the left, you have these different categories. Well, if you go to custom, because what are we doing? We're saving these canned, we're customizing. Here's my new client email, here's my kickoff call. Just click on it, it puts it right in that email, ready to send. I mean, it's so easy, folks, but we just have to learn these simple steps to utilize this great technology that we have. Now, if you're in Outlook, go to Google, how to do canned emails in Outlook, and they give us instructions, step by step, and videos. Another wonderful resource is YouTube. Look at this, canned emails in Outlook. two videos are less than a minute and a half. Then there's a 5 minute and a 7 minute. So I would encourage you guys, go in, use these wonderful resources we have, and it's just amazing. It's not that difficult, and it's just like when we got that first computer. It wasn't that difficult. We open them, we start using them. The more you use it, the more you become comfortable. Now, we were talking about different bookmarks. And see here, this is Chrome, and there's a bookmark tab. I'm at the very top toward the left. See, here you can see my tabs, New Optavia Coach. That's a bookmark that I go right to the document. So that's in Chrome. If you use Firefox, which with Optavia Connect, I use Firefox. So they all are a little different. Here I'm on the upper right-hand side. See these little books? This is View History of Saved Bookmarks. When I click on this, here are my bookmarks. Oops, I'm sorry, I was trying to move that picture. There we go. And so they're there. Even my Optavia sign-in I have as a bookmark. So they're there. Let's see, the other one is Safari, which I use, Safari. And so again, at the upper left, it says bookmarks. And you click here, and you can add a bookmark, and you can show your bookmarks. But you see the bookmarks are here on this bookmark at the very top. You see my cursor going across. Those are my bookmarks. Zoom, Simple Systems, Starting New Clients, Skills and Systems. So you work with the system you're on. If anybody needs a quick, we can jump on Zoom for a minute or two to help you guys, whatever you need. But I just want to encourage you. I'm going to let me go back to Chrome into my Gmail. Okay, all righty. And I'll show you, I've set up, so where are your canned? In Gmail, if you hit on Compose, this brings up a box to, let me move this picture, to send a message. Right here, lower right-hand corner, if you click, guess what? Canned responses. Voila, here's all of my canned responses. Whoops, there you go. So I set them up, I save them, but then if I want to insert, here's this, let's say the Journey kickoff call. I did one last night. So I sent this to her and told her to watch the video. I'm excited you'll be starting. I told her to watch the video. I did do a little edit here and said to watch the video before we do our call. And we had our call set. And I just kind of personalized it for her, but the bulk of the email was there. That's the beauty of it, that I didn't have to recreate this, just kind of look at. I knew she was starting today. So, this instead of the next day or two, I said, your health journey tomorrow, so simple things. But it makes it so much easier than to have to create these emails every time we need it. So you just, again, bottom here, canned responses, there they are. So I just want to encourage you to use this. Any questions or anything? I'm going to stop my share. Debbie and Karen, anybody had anything else they want to share at this point? We got plenty of time. Anybody?
Pat, it can be overwhelming for people that don't have a lot of computer skills.
Right.
So
yes.
Reach out one-on-one, because sometimes when you work one-on-one with whomever your mentor is, you can learn it in 5 minutes,
right?
Versus watching a video and being confused and frustrated and all of that. I know when I was downloading all of my contacts in preparation for setting up my weekly newsletter, I was really frustrated not knowing where to click and all that. And I got on with Pat, and in 5 seconds, we had all my contacts loaded from 11 years ago. And so again, this is an overview, and it's absolutely marvelous. Thank you to Karen, Debbie, and Pat. But please know that you can do one-on-one with whomever your business coach and mentor is.
I have a question.
Please, go ahead. Ruth.
I don't remember, you may have said, is this training being recorded so we can go back and slowly look at it? I don't know where I'm going to be able to find it.
Okay, yes, Ruth, that's a great question. And that was one of the topics I want to cover, is that I'm going to do a document, and in that same best practices under announcement, we'll put last week's training, which was on the first document, and then this week's training, starting new clients. Then we have one more week next week with business coach. So we hope these are being helpful. We don't want them to be, we're kind of trying in these 3 weeks to break down the big training we had on September 22nd. And maybe we'll, that's stored in the same place. Great question, Ruth. Thank you.
Can I say one thing?
Sure, Karen.
I was I use my iPad. I have an iPad Pro, and I use it a lot. And I went in there yesterday. I thought, I want to look at that document again. And when you go in on your iPad or your iPhone, it looks totally different. You cannot find announcements over on the left.
Okay, where is it, Karen? Do you know?
Have to just start scrolling down. I could not find announcements on my iPad. Now, that doesn't mean that it wasn't there. I just couldn't find it.
Right. How about your phones? Anybody else have any experience? This is a good time to share because we all learn from the challenges that we have together.
I mean, I could find the documents, but I could not find the word announcements.
There was no files in that format?
No.
Usually it was files. Okay.
Karen, that is a good point, because even like if you're using Facebook, it looks different on your phone than it does on your computer, than it does on your iPad. So the comments, are different. Debbie, did you want to clarify?
Yeah, so I just went to my phone because I
want to put Deb, I'm going to encourage everyone to put Deb on the speaker view. You'll see better than the little boxes.
Upper right-hand corner.
So I just went to my phone because I was curious, Karen, about what you were saying, because announcements is kind of a new thing in the Facebook groups. So I did find it under best practice. There's a list of members, and right under that is a menu bar that has about, discussion, announcements.
Okay.
So if I click on announcements, I get, there are actually several. So there's the one with the recordings, there's the one with the links to the documents, and then there's two other ones that Shauna and Vicki have recently added.
Right.
Great. Thank you, Deb.
I see it now too. Okay.
I do.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen, though, because that may be a challenge. Listen, if you're having a challenge, believe me, you're probably not the only one. So everybody on here, please don't be afraid to say, hey, I can't find this. Sometimes I can't find things too. But let's learn together. Thank you.
The other thing that I haven't even attempted to do is put these documents on my phone, because I had Simple Systems on my phone, and I would often go into that document when I was out and about and use it and send somebody something, often the journey kickoff call or something like that. And I haven't even attempted to save things to this. I just go to my computer when I'm going to use this document. But I know down the road I'd like to learn how to do that, because we do a lot of our business when we're out and about, not sitting at our desktop. So I don't know if it works exactly the same or not.
I was able to bookmark them on my phone, and what I did, I'm showing here. I put all three in one. Can you see them there? I don't know if I'm. But now what I want to learn is how to save documents on my phone. So maybe next week I'll try to touch on some of that. Because you know what? We have this wonderful equipment. It's smarter than I am, but I am determined to learn to optimize it, even if it's, I learn a little bit every week, because I think between our iPhones and our Androids, there's so much potential.
Yeah, I actually.
And I made a note for that next week.
Right, I did learn that my documents were actually on my phone, and I didn't even realize it because I had synced my documents with the cloud, and that's probably a conversation for another time. But right, I didn't know. All of a sudden they're there, and I'm like, this is amazing. But I had to get on the phone with the guy at AppleCare to learn about it. But I have been able to select multiple documents and email them to people, like the condiment guide and the vegetarian guide, etc., from my phone, and that was very cool. So, but that's kind of a techie conversation.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. What else? I love these conversations because we're all learning together. And basically, Sharon, did you have your hand up or no? I'm sorry. You're muted, honey.
So my internet question is, and maybe someone can get back to me later, but I cannot find how to do the campaign. I've now spent 2 hours for Yahoo. Do you auto reply?
Right. I did the same research, Sharon, and we talked about it a couple of weeks on our buddy calls. Yahoo does not have canned responses, is what I found after I spent time, and I thought I'd emailed that to you. They do auto reply. Well, I've only used auto reply when I've been on vacation. So I would have to do a little more research as far as Yahoo goes. But that's what I found this week, Karen, when researching. Because to me, Outlook, Yahoo, Gmail, Safari, those were the 4 that we wanted to share today. Does anybody have another one that they use? Pam unmute yourself, Pam, please.
I was just looking at Yahoo, and they also have the stationary feature, but I don't know if it works like it did on the other one that you shared.
That might be a check to see if stationary, Sharon, might be because that's the word that Safari Mail calls canned responses, is stationary.
And that was on my laptop, not on my mobile devices.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a lot more comfortable on my laptop. And a lot of people have desktops than I am my phone and my iPad, but whatever works for you. And I would love to be a lot more mobile, to optimize those mobile pieces. Yeah. All right, great stuff. We would like also, we want to continue to answer any questions you have on these documents. But while we're here together, we would like to hear from you, and we kind of a little community hour. Do you have any questions? Are you and the topic is open. Are you facing a challenge? Did you try something that really worked? We'd love some interaction and to hear, because together we're so much better. Look how we've already solved a few little challenges here together. So we would love to open this time up. I have 2 topics I want to cover just that are away from the documents. Dee, you go, girl.
Yeah, Pat, I'll share something that's kind of fun. One of the trainings that we learned from the Miller team was the 3x3x3. So adding 3 new friends on Facebook every day, and starting 3 conversations, and so on and so forth.
3 posts. The other one's 3 posts.
Right, and 3 posts. But anyway, so I reached out to a chiropractor that I've known for years and just started chatting on Messenger with her and invited her for lunch or coffee. So we met yesterday for lunch. I haven't seen her in a number of years. And I didn't mention anything about the business. She knows what I do, but she may not know the ins and outs, obviously. So we just chatted about her 4-year-old son and her husband and her practice and her parents and so on and so forth. And then she brought up and she said, I think I'd like to learn more about health coaching. I think I'm ready to add that to my practice. So again, it's just an example of making the connections, inviting, and just, reconnecting with people that many of them you already know, and they know you. So I'm really excited. Next Thursday, I've got a business explore with her. She said she's definitely wanting to add another income stream. So
great share. Great share. I'm having fun with the 3, 3, and 3 also, connecting. God, I can't believe the classmates that are coming out the woodwork, and it's just fun. And posting, you know, people are watching. Don't think people aren't watching. You know, sometimes I think, geez, the same people comment and this, that, and the other. This week, I had a friend, and actually she's a friend of Stan's. I said, Stan, you know this name? Reached out to me, said, Pat, I want information on your program for my daughter. Can you send it to me? I'm like, Stan, who, you know, I looked back and then I saw who our mutual friends were and hooked me back to Bank of America. So that's why I went to Stan. Not that he's, I have a gazillion friends on Facebook. But, and he said, yeah, and reminded me who she was. And I said, great. Well, then she says, send me information. Well, what do you do with that? You know, well, I'm not sending anything. Send me your website, I think is information and your website. I'm like, oh God, I don't send my website is for clients only.
right.
Prospects do not get my website. There's too much information on there. So I sent back to her, hey, Lana, good to hear from you. Would love to get information to your daughter. Here's how we do it. I usually get on the phone and try to learn where she is in her health journey, and we explore to see if this program may be a fit for her. Here's my phone number, and I put it in there, and I put what's yours or hers. I'd be happy to speak with both of you. And she just replied, you know, and I only do that giving my number so that maybe it'll help them be comfortable. Like this lady, I think she would have because she knew Stan, giving me their number. And she answered back, gave me her phone number. She gave me her daughter's number. She says, but let me send her your reply, and I'm sure she'll want to connect with you. You know, so don't get nervous about saying, oh God, what am I going to send her? It's telling somebody no. I never used the word no. I just said, here's how we do it. You know.
It's always inviting to a phone call to explore where they're starting, what they want to accomplish, and whether the program is a fit.
And like I say, this lady, I don't think I had never noticed her liking or commenting on anything. And then here all of a sudden is a message. So that was kind of fun.
Pat, I'd like to speak to the 3, 3, and 3. I have been doing a modified version of that since conference and have seen tremendous results. And I personally just post once a day. And that's because that was a huge stretch for me to go from posting once or twice a month to once a day. That was like, whoa, this is a lot. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to go to 3. But for a while, this is where my comfort zone is. But I do comment and go in and send things on Messenger and add friends. When I see, if your settings are set to public, you see friends of friends will comment on my posts, and then I can go in and send them a private message and say, I'm so glad that you commented on my post, you know, with whatever is appropriate. And then I've added a lot of friends that have actually, you know, we've become pretty good friends on Facebook because of that. I try to post once a day. I kind of rotate with a before and after picture, a recipe, something personal, and something that I think is fun and inspirational in terms of mental health or physical health or something. And for me, that's worked. I know that a lot of people post 3 times a day, and what that does, I think, is just it gets you in front of a lot more people because your post is at the top of the feed and people see it more. I don't know. I just haven't been ready to do that. Once a day is okay for me. But I guess why I'm mentioning this is don't throw it out the window. Like, oh, I don't want to do that. I can't post 3 times a day. That's not for me. Because you don't have, I mean, it's your business. And you can do whatever you want, and you can get your feet wet with this however you want to. and try it and see if you see more traction with people commenting, with people talking to you. I just had somebody, she never, as to Pat's point, she never ever has commented on any of my posts. And and she sells doTERRA oils, and every once in a while I see her post something, and they have a weight loss thing. And here the other day she said, okay, Karen, I'm ready to talk to you about this program. I got to get off 20 pounds. Can you help me? Out of the blue. And I really believe it's because of the more frequent postings I've been doing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And you know, and Karen, that's a phenomenal point. Whatever you're comfortable with, and you know, and it reminds me, we yesterday in our team creating health, and I can sure share this. I know we have a lot of our team wellness buddies here, but Dee and I posted the recording of Dan Valentine's boot camp. They started a boot camp right after conference. They did 6 weeks. Then they changed it into a sponsoring boot camp. This is the second of 3 weeks. And those recordings we posted in Team Creating Health, for the coaches. It's in the files under Valentine Boot Camp, I think. But in there, he has about the 3, 3, and 3. 2 of the weeks of the 6 weeks were on this Facebook 3, 3, and 3. And it says, yeah, 1, 1, and 1. That's a great place to start. If that's what's do what works for you. And if you miss a day, you can do 2 one day, and you know you can catch up. And you know, don't feel like this isn't about being perfect. I mean, that's the beauty of our whole business. Our whole premise is it's not perfection. It's just staying in action.
It's really about consistency, Karen. So once a day is consistency.
Yep.
Twice a month is not consistency. The other thing that, Karen, you mentioned, sometimes people don't comment. They don't even like. I find that if I do a personal thing, you know, a picture of my kids, or I'm on vacation, I might get 50 or 100 likes and comments. If I do it before and after, I may only get 5. But those same people that comment on my kids or my vacation are seeing the before and after. It's just like too close to them. And if I think that people are afraid if they like or comment, they might be forced into something they're not ready for. So they're paying attention, believe me. So.
And I had one this week, you know, it's somebody liked, and you know, one part of the training is message with them. And I just said, hey, thanks for liking my post. What's new with you? That's all. You know, he answered me and said, hey, you know, blah, blah, blah. It was just starting that conversation. You know, it was one of my 3 conversations for that day. But, you know, it was just simple and not, you know, I'm not going to attack him and say, oh, you got to hear about my business now. You know, start a conversation. Just like if you ran into him at the grocery store. I love that. Or at church. What would you say if you ran into this person? You know, we run into strangers. We're polite and we say hello or please and thank you or open a door. Well, think of Facebook and your friends and the people you're interacting with in the same way. I mean, we use our people skills, and God knows in this world we could all use a little kindness and compassion. So, you know, it's really easy to reach out and touch someone. And, you know, you may be the only kind word or smile that they get in a day.
Debbie, why don't you share how you met your newest ED? I think that's a great story.
Yeah, I met Elaine Rosenwalk about a year and a half ago on a cruise. And we just happened to be sitting next to each other for dinner, her and her husband and me and my husband. And we struck up a conversation with them. And she very diplomatically asked me, do you work outside the home? I said, well, I work from home. And she said, what do you do? I said, I'm a health coach. And she leaned in and she said, I need a health coach. She lives in Binghamton, New York, and it's just been such a joy to get to know her and her sister, Sarah, who lives on the other side of the country in San Jose, California, and they both became clients and coaches.
Now, was Sarah on the cruise too, or just Elaine?
Just Elaine was on the cruise, her and her husband, and so we're hoping to meet up again on the Optavia incentive trip cruise.
I love that story.
Yeah, I also had a great experience with the 333 and starting messenger conversations with somebody who had actually I lived next door to for over 20 years. And we became Facebook friends quite a while ago, and she was kind of in my orbit and watching what I was doing, and I would comment on her posts, but she never, ever talked about wanting to become a client in any way. And when I reached out to her with a Facebook conversation after she commented on one of my posts a few weeks ago, it led to her asking me about my program, to a health assessment phone call, and she is in her, I think, third week on the program, having lost 11 pounds, and she's thrilled. I lived next to that lady for 20-some years, and nothing ever happened until I started a Facebook Messenger thread with her. Just kind of blows my mind.
Yeah. Oh, wow, amazing. Great story. And speaking of cruises, I'd like to just briefly bring up our International Leadership Advancement cruise. We are 3 months into qualification. I still feel very strongly that anybody can qualify for that trip. Some people have qualified as far as level 1 coaches that have to be executive director 2 months in a row. Several of them have qualified. And I want to congratulate each and every one of them. But even if you haven't been ED 1 month yet, we still have 3 months, October, November, and December business. Your volume, there are frontline and group volume also, but connect with your mentor. And please keep an open mind. Let's work, anybody that wants to. We all, have mentors available to us. And I know on our part of the Team Wellness team, we're happy to work with, any business coach is happy to work with our coaches. In regards to that, that's a whole separate entity, but I want to go into the global expansion and Singapore and Hong Kong, and we're excited about that. On the first Thursday of every month, there is a global expansion webinar. I believe it's for EDs and above. But they had the second one this Thursday. I believe I know the recordings are going to be in Optavia Connect. Somebody said Agents of Transformation also. But I want to share something that we learned at conference. But it's like we learn so much at conference, and sometimes this global outreach seems far away. But to qualify, there's a couple different groups. As coaches here in America, you become a global ambassador if you want to have, be able to grow that business there. But global ambassador, to be a global ambassador, you have to be executive director 3 consecutive months, starting in July. So through March. So we still have lots of time. But for those EDs who have been for the 2 months qualified for the trip, and I can name a couple that were actually, this was their 3rd month if they made it. 1 more month and you would qualify for that global ambassador group. You have to be ED and above. And then what it is like, okay, I'll use D and I. If we're both part of the global ambassador group and D sponsors someone there in China, or Singapore or Hong Kong, and works with them and grows a business, D gets a percentage, but so do I, because we're both global ambassadors. So, of course, it'll be our job also to, support them. But we're going to have all the tools we need. So I just wanted to remind people of that. It's like that was off of my radar completely. But I don't want anybody who's been 2 months in a row to say, oh, okay, now I've qualified for the trip. Hey, this global expansion, Hong Kong and Singapore are the first markets. There are more to come, and you want to be part of that. So I just wanted to encourage everyone to, grow your business to executive director or higher so that you can be part of this exciting expansion.
Pat, thank you for that. I think that's super exciting. The fact that I think it's the first 30 people that start there and develop an ED will tap into 1% of all the profits. 1% doesn't sound like much. It's going to be huge as it grows. So really rack your brain on what connections you might have. Like my daughter's new boyfriend lived in Singapore for 3 years. He lived and worked there. I just found that out. So, if you start conversations and find out about people, guess what? You'll learn amazing things. Bree wanted to share something. Unmute yourself, hon.
I just wanted to share that, first of all, I have kind of not gotten on the Saturday calls as often recently, but being back on it today has definitely renewed what I need. It's definitely what I needed. I'm a teacher and I'm going into fall break this week. And one of the main things that I want to do is ramp up what I've kind of let go of as far as posting and reaching out to new people. So I had a client that I had reached out to, or a previous acquaintance that I had reached out to that we went to high school together, and she had liked one of my posts, but that's all the farther that it went. And I reached out to her and said, hey, thanks for reaching out. I just, I really appreciate it, and just trying to be organic, finding out what was going on. And she said, I'm really interested in what you keep posting about with health coaching. Tell me a little bit more about it. So I was able to get her on a call and explore. And within 10 minutes of being on the call, just talking to her, and she's younger than I am. She's 23. And she's like, I've just had so many health issues already in my life. I've had so many surgeries she had like gallbladder issues. And she's like, I just need a nutrition and wellness and the whole package, because I don't want to let it go before, I get to a point that I can't come back from. And so and she started crying, and she's like, I don't even know why I'm crying right now. I'm just so emotional and so happy that I've been able to connect with you. And so that really helped and really fueled the fire of, reaching out and being authentic to people and just asking them where they've been, what have they been doing. She actually was involved. Her house was involved in the hurricanes that just happened in the Carolinas. And so she relocated back to Evansville for a week or so. And I was reaching out to her and, trying to support her. And she's back to normal. Things were not as bad as she thought it was going to be. But it was a major stress. And she said the thing that kept me going was that I knew I was doing, even though I couldn't help anything that was happening with natural disasters, I could help myself. I knew that I was treating my body right. I was helping it, and so it was easier for her to get back into routine of things. And this past week she said, my boyfriend's actually really interested. He wants to know more about what I'm doing, and then by association. So it was just a really productive call, really productive client. I'm really excited to see where she's going to go with this. So yeah.
That's awesome. And what it points out is how lonely and isolated people often feel. Mm-hmm. And for you to reach out to her, and make that connection, it's so important. What some of the comments Pat made earlier about, a lot of people are hurting right now for a number of different reasons. And we're just reaching out with love and kindness. So that's a great share. Anybody else that would like to share something that went well? I'm going to bring up another, we've been talking about connecting and that translating into clients. I'm going to share something that led to me bringing on an amazing health coach. So I was on the urging of a friend of mine. that I see often at the gym, who's an attorney, she recommended that I attend the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce that her law firm was hosting. Her law firm was hosting a cocktail party, and I had never been. And so I went, and one of the people that I met there was a young man named Brandon. Brandon was getting started as an insurance agent, so we chatted. I heard all about, what his aspirations were as an insurance agent working for New York Life. He had 2 years of training that he had to undergo. And then he turned it over to me and he said, "So what do you do?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, I love what I do. I always turn my excitement up a couple of notches. I love what I do. I'm a health coach, so I help people get to a healthier weight and help them improve a lot of aspects of their health." And because Brandon is tall and thin and athletic and certainly didn't look like he needed our program, I went on to say, and I develop, train, and support health coaches, people that are looking for a second income stream, those that are in a job that maybe they don't like and they would love to reinvent themselves. And I love working with young women and men who would like to create an income stream working from home around their children's schedules. And so when I finished that, he said, "My wife is looking for something that she can do from home. We have a 10-month-old baby. She's breastfeeding, and she doesn't want to take a job outside the home." And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'd love to connect with her." So I gave him my card. I put his wife's name and phone number in my phone as a contact. And whenever I put a contact in, underneath where it says business or whatever it says, I put HC prospect, so that when I search it, it'll prospects will pop up. Otherwise, I may get home and think, "Oh my gosh, I can't remember that person's name, and I've got 3,000 names in my phone." So I can search prospects. Anyway, I connected with her in March of 17. We chatted several times. She had some interest, but she didn't think it was the right time. She wasn't sure. And then she signed up in October of 17, and in 3 months she became an executive director. And
was that conference with us, her and Brandon, and her mother's a coach. I mean, just a beautiful. Yeah.
But that's how I met her, by meeting her husband and not only saying, "Oh, I'm a health coach, I help people get healthier," but going on to say, "I develop, train, and support health coaches." And the click for him was when I said, those moms that would love to create an income stream and work around their children's schedules.
So important. Another little tip, I love the tip that Dee used on Health Coach Prospect on your phone. I do the same thing. Then when they become a coach, and even a lot of the coaches on here, I put their ID number. I replace that prospect with their ID number. Because if I call Optavia, about anybody, I usually have their phone and their email in my phone. But if I put their ID number there, then it's like I have it, without having to go to Optavia Connect and find them and find an ID number. So, just shortcuts. Yes,
Can you tell us how you search for that? I don't know how to do that.
When you go to contacts, Karen, you know how if I'm calling my daughter and I really don't have her number memorized, I go into contacts and at the top it says search. So you can start typing in somebody's name, but you can also put prospect in the search. And then it pulls up all the prospects.
Have to be the first word you type in, or is HC prospect or
no, you can just put HC, or you can put prospects. You know how if you're doing a Google search, you don't have to be 1,000% exact. You just have to put a word.
I just didn't know. So in the search button, just put HC prospect or HC
or just
coach, and then all those come up?
Yeah, for me, I put, if I've tagged it as HC, but prospects are the thing I'm looking for.
Yeah, whether it's a coach or a client, a prospect's a prospect. And it narrows down your 3,000 contacts to, so even if you have 50, you got to go through.
This call was worth it for me just for that.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, I did it with RV parks and, the name of the park, and then I just put RV. So I can go to my contacts and put RV if we're looking to stay at a place we've already stayed. And here they all come up, It's just, our technology, I'm telling you, our equipment is so much smarter than I am. I don't speak for everybody.
But just little stuff that, to keep yourself organized. Because the thing that would always happen to me, I'd meet someone and then I'd go home and I couldn't remember what their name was. So the phone thing is great. And the other thing is, don't be afraid when you're talking to someone. Like when I'm at the airport, I meet people all the time, and I'll say, "Oh, let me put you in my contacts," and there it goes. So you can
another thing I've done is I put them in. If a lot of people will give you a business card. Now I don't like them because I can show you stacks. When we moved from St. Louis, stacks of business cards I threw away. So I enter them but I'll sometimes go home with it. I enter them, and then for the photo on the contact, I take a picture of the business card. So then it's there, because sometimes there's more stuff on that business card. So I use that as their photo on my contact. That's another thing I've started doing just to, it kind of keeps, then I pitch the business card, I don't need it. No, so just little things that, make life simple.
The other thing, Pat, since we're talking about business cards, if you're spending the money on business cards, make sure on the front of your card you have your headshot, because people may not remember your name, but they'll remember what you look like. And that's why real estate agents, you never get a real estate agent business card that doesn't have their picture. So it's something that I've learned from the person that I order my business cards from. They're all compliant. She puts in the disclaimers. She knows all that stuff. But she was the one that said to me, add your headshot. And it just is, the card looks better, but then people can go home and they may go, Marcia Smith, I can't remember who that is, but they look at the picture and then their memory is jogged. So, all right, Pat.
Something else I want to share, I just remembered. These cards, these are the BMI cards from the company. You can get, I think you get 30 of them or 25 of them for $3. And on the front, and they are actually in the health professional tools section, but I was looking for something for my primary care physician. So this is the front of it. And what I did, can you see it here, is I did a label. And on this label, just like on my business cards, I do not put my website. And I put my name, certified health coach, call now, free health assessment, and I put my email. But I want them to call me or email. I don't want them going to my website. So this is a very easy leave behind. Of course, healthcare professionals, but anybody, if you're meeting with somebody, they love to see BMI cards too. And so reasonable. Oh my God, $3. I went to Avery. You go to avery.com/templates, and they'll show you the templates. You run 30 labels on a page. So, and you can make them however you want them to read. So really, that's been a new tool that I just found that I like. Just wanted to share. It's past 11. We wanted to make this kind of community time. I don't have a problem staying even longer, but I want you to feel you have permission to leave if, you got to go on with your day. Debbie Baumoel had a 10:15 appointment. She left. And we're just thankful. Next week, we will do training on the final document, which is business coach. And we look forward to being here with you, same time, same place. and for all of Team Wellness. And if we can help anyone needs a few minutes on, to jump on to learn about a browser or bookmarking or any of these topics, we're here to help you. We're here to help you. I want to thank everyone who participated today. Great questions. Dee, thanks for hosting and always being here with us.
Pat, let's see. Pam had a question.
Mm-hmm.
Does it mean that you can't sponsor someone from Asia if you're not an ED?
Right. I think it's a great question. To my knowledge, you will be able to sponsor, but I feel like it's going to be leaving money on the table if you're not part of the Global Ambassador Club and part of that pay structure. I think that's going to be like another bucket of income for us. So I think you'll still earn on any coach you sponsor, but this Global Ambassador group is, to my knowledge right now, and I will continue to do research, we'll learn this together, you want to earn out of that bucket also. So that's my understanding. Yes, Ruth?
I'm sorry, I have a question, but I hear everything and I'm kind of getting overwhelmed.
That's okay.
If you two, Dee and you, could describe how a day in the life of Pat, a day in the life in Dee is for you. How do you organize everything? How do you keep it?
Well,
how do you have a life?
That's a great question. And it depends on the day, Ruth. I tell you, I play golf every Tuesday morning and every Thursday morning. I have blocked my time. We all have 168 hours in the week. And every 168 hours is blocked. I very seldom do work before 9 o'clock any day of the week. 6 to 9 is my workout, my devotion, and hopefully a shower. And, to where then I'm ready for the day. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday especially, I have time. And it's color-coded. It's on the wall at my desk. It's a time exercise, and I think it's very, very important for new coaches. Why? Because you want to maintain a life. And when I started this business, I didn't have time for coaching calls because I had no time. And Whitney wanted me to do this form. Well, I didn't have time to do the form. And she said, do you see a common thing here? It's time. So when I learned to block my time, it gave me my life back. So when I'm golfing on Tuesday morning, that's my golf time because I have golf time in my calendar. I can tell you exactly how many hours. And I have client support time. I have coach time. Do I follow it to the minute? Do I flex? I flex, and I'm happy to flex. But when I'm on the golf course, I don't worry about my business because that's not my business time. When I'm with children, a family, it just depends. So that's how I'm structuring, and I'd be happy to share the time exercise with anyone because it helps you I've never seen someone do it and not have 20, 30, 40 extra hours. Of those extra hours, you decide which ones will be your Optavia hours. And if I don't miss a nail appointment, I don't miss a haircut, I don't miss a doctor's appointment. So if I can block my time and my business, it works for me. It's given me balance. I will say that, Ruth. And I think that's very important, especially for new coaches, because, if you're doing family thing and you're thinking of Optavia and you're doing Optavia and you're thinking of family this, it's like too many things are pulling at you. And we want to stay balanced and have joy in all we do. And I think that's huge.
Yeah, Ruth, what I do is I get up, I'm an early riser. And so I get up and take care of my pets and read the New York Times and the Washington Post, especially in this political time. I want to be well informed. I have coffee and, a very light breakfast, and then I do my exercise. So every day is my exercise time, and that's a full hour. Bike riding, a yoga class, spinning, whatever it happens to be. And so I rarely start my business day before 10. So those who are on my team know that my first appointment, if we're doing a business explore or a health assessment, 10 a.m. And Monday is my coaching day. So I get all my clients done on Monday. I do a little bit of overflow into Tuesday, but I think that's really key, where newer coaches sometimes are doing those client coaching calls 7 days a week. And it doesn't have to be that way. One thing that's really worked for me too, and I hear this from coaches, they'll say, well, my clients work, and so I have to do my calls in the evening. Well, I have a frontline volume of between, usually around 15,000 a month. So that's a lot of clients. I'm not doing all my calls in the evening. I would be mentally exhausted. So what I do is I text people. I set it up with my clients so that I have them text me every Monday morning their Monday morning weight. And then that's my trigger to make the phone calls in the order that people reach out to me. And so, but before I call, because again, a lot of people are working, I text them, can you chat now? And either they answer me right away and say yes, or I'm available at 3. And if they're available at 3, I say, call me when you're ready, because I don't want to be responsible for setting my alarm or having to remember to call them at 3, because Monday's my really busy day. So when you're ready, call me. And because that's what I'm doing all day long. And then sometimes they don't respond right away because they're not on their phone. They're working. They're not checking text messages every second. But I'll hear from them later on saying, oh, I just saw your text. I can talk now. So that's what keeps me organized and sane. But I'm really done with my coaching calls by about 6, maybe 7. I don't have that many late ones. I want to schedule my business during the day. If I'm doing a health assessment with a new coach, some of those are in the evening. But I always say, when they reach out to me and they say, can you do a health assessment with my sister? I will respond back and say, I would love to. Ask your sister what the earliest time that she can do it, but no earlier than 10 o'clock Central. And then on the other days, I'm doing business explores. I'm doing my Facebook thing. I'm preparing for a training. I did the Habits of Health lecture this Wednesday, so I was, fine-tuning that. I did a talk for a women's group, so I was, so that kind of stuff. But I try to really keep the stuff during the day, and then there are some Zooms in the evening. But I'm 64. My high income producing years were when I was practicing medicine. This is my kind of, this is my passion business that I love, and it keeps me, connected and all of that. But I'm not going to work 14 hours a day like I did when I was practicing medicine. So.
And I'd like to add, I protect my evenings. Monday nights are all coach calls. So up until that all coach call, if I have a client or an explorer or something, I don't mind booking from 6 to 8. Wednesday night, we have Habits of Health, and we have a support call. I love being on because we got great docs from our team and nurses that are part of the support. Just, you learn so much. I still learn stuff when I'm on there. So, so I don't mind working late on those days, but I'm like, Dee, I protect my time. If you don't watch it, you can work every night of the week and Friday night too. And I don't want to do that. I want life. But here's my color-coded time exercise. The yellow's my personal time. The green is my golf. The blue's client, and the purple is coach. And it's just there. And sleep is part of the yellow at the bottom. There's just a lot of things, but it helps me to be balanced. It makes, happy,
Yeah.
happy wife is a happy life for my husband too.
For me, Ruth, I have everything on my phone calendar. So every day when I go in, I, open it up and I can see what I'm going to do. For long-term stuff, I also have a paper calendar because sometimes it's easier to just open it up and you see the whole month at a time without having to go to every screen. Larry, you had a comment or something you wanted to say?
Well, I do have a question, but why don't you finish on the time inventory stuff, and then it's a question for you.
Yeah, no, you just have to pick a system that works for you. But my phone has my calendar,
Yep.
and
I do the same with that. Yes.
Yeah. And then, like I said, I have these paper calendars so that I can go in the month of like I've got one for 18 and another one for 19. So it's easier to pull it up and then not having to scroll through every month of your.
Right.
What I like about my paper calendar is when I have to go back and say, when was this event? And it's in my month. But most of my things are also in my phone as far as phone calls or Zooms or, the repeat Zooms and a lot of that kind of stuff.
Okay. I thank you so much. That helps me.
That was helpful. Great question.
Larry, go ahead.
Well, Dee, I know you did the Habits of Health Zoom the other night. I was looking on YouTube where they archive them, and I don't see that one posted yet.
Well, let me tell you.
Let me look right now. I looked earlier too.
I looked yesterday.
I looked this morning.
One of the things that I wanted to present, Larry, was the latest data on soy. There's this amazing study published in the journal Cancer. You can't get more reputable than the journal Cancer in 2017. So it's a really, really new study, and it was on over 6,200 women, all of whom had breast cancer, and it reported on how they did, whether they consumed soy or they did not, and levels of soy consumption. So the women that consumed the highest percentile of soy had the best survival, the lowest recurrence. So this is medical data. Compliance would not let me present any of that because it was controversial. There's nothing controversial in my mind, or probably in your mind as a physician, on published data in medical journals. And so one of the things that Angie said, Angela Myers, who is the support person, she said, well, whatever you say, compliance is going to, listen to it, and they might have to delete parts of it and this and that. Everything I say is documented in medicine. So I don't shoot from the hip on that. So I think the reason why the recording is not there is compliance is going to review it to make sure I didn't say this and say that and this and that. But
I just looked again, Dee. It's still not there. So it'll probably be next week.
So anyway.
Dan Bell did an amazing trilogy about 4 weeks ago. I don't know if it wasn't just before Labor Day or maybe right after Labor Day. And I mean, how many times I've heard and seen Dan Bell, and he was probably at his best. And we won't get that recording because compliance just said there were just things in it that they wouldn't post. But oh my God, it was amazing. Well, all right. Any other great question, Larry? And I really think Dee's will come up. And it was amazing. She did a great job. Thanks again, Dee.
Well, yeah, Dee, thank you so much. There is one that you did 11 months ago on, breast cancer awareness back then. But it would really be nice to have the updated stuff.
Yeah, the one I did a year ago, because I do it every year in October because it's breast cancer month. The one I did a year ago has some of the soy data, but not this newest study from Cancer. It's got data on Asian women. And one of the criticisms has always been, well, what about American women? Because Asian women are used to eating soy. You know, they eat soy from the time they're infants. But anyway, so this American, I'll talk to you separately about that. So anyway, thanks so much. Great training, Pat and Debbie and Karen. And we want you to enjoy your weekend.